everyone, Laura K. Buzz here, and welcome to another episode of Accessibility. It's a show where I talk about the video game industry, accessibility, and representation. Basically, can we make more people able to play games, and more people able to see themselves in games? That's what this show's about. Now, when it comes to picking a difficulty mode in a video game, there's a lot of things that can go into that choice. When I'm playing Wolfenstein, for example, I put it on easy mode because it's a power fantasy. I just want to mow down Nazis and I don't want to have any trouble doing that. If I'm playing a first-person shooter, I know that's a genre that I personally struggle with, so I'll probably put it on easy mode for that. And I might play a game on easy mode just because there's another game coming out soon and I want to get through this one as quick as possible, and the easiest way to do that is with easy mode. There's a lot of reasons why someone might want to play a game on easy mode, and I want to clear up today a misconception that I see a lot around games like Dark Souls, Cuphead, Super Meat Boy. There's this idea that adding an easy mode to those games would ruin them, because the whole point of the game is the player is supposed to be challenged, they're supposed to have a difficult time. A lot of these games are built around that idea, or they're built around that as structure. The narrative sometimes even builds around that, but I don't think that would be ruined if you gave players an easy mode. So here's the basis of the argument. The Dark Souls series is often summarised best as being about carrying on when things get tough. The tone and the setting are bleak, death is expected to be frequent, and one of the things people love about the game is overcoming a boss so powerful you thought you'd never get past it. It's a game about not giving up when things look their worst, and a number of players out there will argue that adding an easy mode would undermine this core gameplay and narrative experience. If nothing in Dark Souls kills you because the game's too easy, is that stripping the player of experiencing aspects of the narrative the creators intended? So, let's get this out the way. I don't think that anyone who argues for Dark Souls or Super Meat Boy or Cuphead to get an easy mode is saying that should be the only way to play the game. I think that everyone, whether they enjoy these games' current level of difficulty or not, can see that this level of difficulty does offer something valuable to a lot of players. Don't worry, we're not arguing that you should have to play on easy mode, we're not taking hard mode away from you. If what you're worried about is that saying I beat Dark Souls won't mean as much if there's an easy mode, just specify what difficulty you beat it on. Your get good gamer cred won't be impacted if you say I beat it on hard mode. But what I really want to focus on today is this incorrect idea that creating an optional easy mode in these kind of games is something that players are only pushing for because they don't want games to challenge them. Quite the opposite. Many players, myself included, sometimes want easy difficulty modes so that they can have the same challenging experience that you're already having with Dark Souls or Cuphead or Super Meat Boy. We want a challenge that knocks us over again and again, but feels just achievable enough to push through and achieve, rather than something that feels impossibly above our skill ceiling. We want a challenge that's tough, but achievable. Many players like myself sometimes want an easy mode that isn't a total walk in the park. And before you say that I just suck at games and I just want everything watered down for me, 2 of the 3 examples I have in here, Dark Souls and Cuphead, are games I've beaten. There are other games that I want easy modes for so that I can be challenged and have it completable. But it's not just that I suck at games, it's sometimes a specific game is tough in a specific way, and I need just a little bit easier to have the same challenging experience you're having. And before anyone thinks they're clever and points out, Cuphead's got an easy mode already. Cuphead has an easy mode that does not let you progress through the game. It's not really an easy mode if you can't play it on a reduced difficulty and progress to play the next part of the game on that reduced difficulty. It's not quite the same thing. Part of the issue here is the traditional naming nomenclature we use to discuss difficulty modes, and the way it presents what players want from a game. Easy as a difficulty mode suggests that you want an easy time, free of challenge. It suggests the end goal is to take difficulty out of the equation. I don't want this to be hard. Would a change to calling easy mode easier mode, or something similar to that, fix this issue? Probably not, but at least semantically it might be closer to what a Dark Souls easy mode player might want. It's a lowering of the difficulty barrier, but one that still leaves a challenge for the player afterwards. Other than that, there are games like Celeste or Sayonara Wild Hearts that don't strictly have an easy mode, but allow players to avoid optional dangerous areas, skip sections they simply can't seem to pass, or tweak specific character data to momentarily help themselves get past a section. I'm not embarrassed to admit in Celeste there were a couple of times where I slowed the game speed down by a couple of percentage points, just so I would have an easier time getting the timing right on a really difficult section of the mountain. I still had to do the correct inputs and plan my route correctly, I just had a little extra time to do what my hands couldn't quite keep up with. Sometimes my brain and my hands aren't quite in sync and I just need a little extra window to get things done. It was still a difficult game and those sections were still difficult. I wasn't throwing away all challenge by playing it in a slightly easy method than the default setting. As I said before, there's a lot of different reasons someone might play in easy mode in a game, but let's get past this notion that picking an easy mode means someone doesn't want to experience challenge. Everyone's skill level is different and skill levels differ from game to game. Choosing to give myself a little extra time in Celeste occasionally doesn't mean I didn't challenge myself, and it didn't take away from my enjoyment of that game's narrative about overcoming difficult experiences. My playing the game that way didn't impact anyone else's experience or change my perception of that game's challenge-based narrative. We need to get over this notion that if someone picks an easy mode, they don't want to be challenged. A lot of people just want the same experience you're having. They want to experience Dark Souls the way you have, where you try again, you try again, you try again, you're knocked down, and you eventually progress. And you feel like you're making progress, you're getting stronger. You feel like it is achievable, but difficult. Someone asking to be challenged a little bit less doesn't mean they're asking not to be challenged.